We've even got people in the chat right now. We've got Ted. Ted is saying, no stream. No, Ted, don't worry. It's okay, Ted. We're here. We are 3 minutes late. I am sorry. It's entirely Callum's fault. He will apologise to you and explain why it's his fault in a long, rambling sentence in about 5 minutes. He seems to be having some technical difficulties. That's Callum's technical difficulty face. Callum, what's happening that's difficult, and why is it technical?
Because I just changed some settings. Very technical ones, of course.
Yes. They're in the technical tab, aren't they? It's like normal settings, normal, advanced, and Callum's level of technical. That's how the tabs go.
I'm live too now. I'm live too.
That's what we like to hear. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Tangent Tavern. I am Josh Strife Hayes.
I am Callum Upton.
And we are two dudes talking about games. That's the title I put for the stream, Cal. Is it a good title?
It's pretty accurate, isn't it?
It is. It's spot on for exactly what it is. I like to think that this is the kind of podcast that people have on in the background when they should be working.
Oh, yeah.
That's my goal.
Why would you be working when you could just not be?
You could listen. You could listen to two dudes talking about games and things, that kind of stuff.
I love that your voice just cut out for me, and what you just said was two guys talking about gay things.
I said talking about the word gay wasn't in there. But
you said games, didn't you? Games and things.
I did, but to you it just said like gay and things. Callum, we've been streaming for 1 minute and 35, and already we're going to fill up the Callum Josh fanfic repertoire.
Yeah.
With that. Now,
it has to happen.
It does. I need to ask you a very important, Callum, and I think we need to jump onto... This is the podcast I listen to while farming Ultima Online. Great. I mean, our demographic is broad and varied, from Final Fantasy XIV to Ultima Online. That's pretty much it. That's the entire demographic.
I mean, what other demographic do you need?
You don't. There's none. In fact, I was going to say NFTs, but let's think about this. Do you think genuinely the interest in NFTs has gone down substantially over the last month?
If you look on Google Trends, any of the online trackers, it's gone down massively. It's about 60% down over last month alone. So.
Do you think it's had to do with the Line Goes Up video by Foldable Human?
I think it's just been from the absolute onslaught from everybody, but I think that played a massive part in it, yeah.
Yeah, they seem to have fallen out of favour. I think games companies are realising that the public don't want them, or the public aren't ready for them yet, because change has to be slow and gradual.
Yeah, like what they're showing is not what people want.
Someone in the chat just put, it has been 0 days since we talked about NFTs on Tangent Tavern. Okay, you know what, fine. How about this? I've got an important question. Callum, do you think that a lot of our listeners, several million of them, do you think they see us as arbiters of moral guidance? Do you think they look to us for instructions on how to live their life?
I would hope that they don't, but I'd hope that they'd at least take some of the things we're saying and do their own research on it.
I think people look to us and just unquestionably follow what we do. That's the responsibility that we have as streamers.
All right, steady on Shane.
It's very important. I need you to understand the responsibility when I ask you, Callum, have you ever slapped a comedian while hosting the Oscars?
It's on my to-do list, but I haven't done it yet.
It's on all of our to-do lists, Cal. Have you ever done it? That's the question.
Unfortunately not, but now that I am a big fan of Will Smith, I'm definitely going to do it.
Do you know
he has.
You know the police dusted the comedian's face afterwards. Do you know what they found? They found Fresh Prince. Oh.
That's
violence comedy. That's where we're going now. That is exactly.
I saw that on Twitter and I exhaled slightly faster than I normally would have.
Yeah, I like a bull snorted out of my nose when that happened.
Yeah.
People are saying, we're going to unfollow. If you want to unfollow the stream, that's absolutely fine. But no, what seemed to happen was Will Smith and his wife have a bit of a complicated relationship. And as long as they're happy, they're happy. As you be as complicated as you want to be in your own relationships.
Yeah.
You know, who they want to see outside of the marriage, totally up to them, their business, no one else's. But when that joke was told, if you haven't seen this, by the way, just Google Will Smith Oscars. He full-on slapped Chris Rock.
That was a good slap as well.
It was a solid slap. Will Smith has been practicing his slap in hand. And Chris Rock told a joke at Will Smith's wife's expense, and the camera panned to Will, and Will was laughing. You know, he was giggling about it, and his wife was not happy. And there was a moment when Will kind of looked at his life and thought, oh shit, I shouldn't be laughing at this. Quick, I've got to make it up to someone. better slap Chris Rock.
It made for very good viewing.
It was the best part of the Oscars. I think the Oscars will be vastly improved if every single Oscar there was at least one fight.
There was one saving grace with it being Chris Rock. Could you imagine if it was Ricky Gervais again?
I mean, I would have paid a lot of... You know the kind of bingo card that we've all got for the year? Like, next pandemic, World War III. I don't think I had Will Smith slaps Ricky Gervais on my bingo card, but I might put it there.
It was.
I might put it there for next year. It might happen. It might happen. Yeah, the Oscars would be better if every celebrity got to slap one person.
Yeah, like there's not nominations for who's won an Oscar. It's nominations for who you want to absolutely beat down.
Next Oscars, everyone chooses Will Smith.
Cage match.
It's just every other celebrity slaps Will Smith.
I'm down for that.
Man, can you imagine the ratings? Because people don't watch the Oscars. Everyone knows the Oscars are corrupt as hell. It's just money. It's money and popularity, man. And people are going, oh, they faked it for ratings. They faked it for ratings. There is no way they could plan something that entertaining.
No.
They would plan something cringy. They would plan something with a popular young celebrity. They would plan something with some kind of song and dance. They'd
get the Island Boys on stage or something, wouldn't they?
Yeah, that's what they would do. They wish they faked it. Someone in the Oscars planning room wishes they thought of this.
Yeah.
They wish they could just walk up to Will Smith and go, hey, go and slap Chris Rock.
Yeah.
They wish they thought of that.
It went down better than we thought.
Oh, God, yeah. It's going to make amazing TV. It's when you Google Will Smith Oscar, because this, I think, was one of the first Oscars he's won, that's going to come up every time. Like, that is attached to that event. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, yeah, for those of you just joining us now, we're talking about Will Smith's... I think he needs to work on his right hook. It was an open palm slap. A proper hook could have gone down, because Chris Rock isn't the biggest of guys.
You could see that he was walking up there, fist ready for a punch, and then I think he had a moment of, shit, I shouldn't do this. So he thought, what's next best? I'll just slap him.
Yeah, he'd committed to the walk. He couldn't just walk. Because imagine how weird it would have been. Will Smith walked up to Chris Rock and then just turned around and walked back. That would have been weirder than the hit.
It definitely would have, yeah. I think it ended the best way we could have hoped.
So
just pure drama.
People look to you, and this is what worries me, Cal. We're going to go to Insomnia in 2 weeks' time.
Oh, God, it's 2 weeks. I've still got to get the costume.
We're going to be on stage.
We are.
There's more than a few people that want to slap both you and me.
As of recently, I have to agree.
I mean, if there's anyone that likes Earth 2, and don't you worry, mate, we're going to be getting into Earth 2 pretty... Guys, if you're on this podcast, Cal is... Oh, he has not just poked the hornet's nest, he's poured petrol on it, set it on fire, and kicked it across a field. He has angered them. But I'm pretty sure that there's going to be someone at Insomnia that wants to hit you or me.
Yeah. I mean, Donning's used to getting hit, so this will just be normal.
Exactly.
It will be planned event.
Getting into character, man. Getting into character.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine? I mean, I'm pretty sure I've angered the entire player base of every MMO that I've reviewed so far.
Yeah, I don't think you've quite managed it to the extent I have in one video.
No, yeah. I mean, I've always annoyed like a couple of hundred people in every time. You know, I like to pace myself out. You know that old discussion. How many like fifth graders could you beat in a fight if they attacked you in waves of 5 repeatedly? I'm like a wave fight kind of guy.
Oh God, yeah.
You've just put it all in one go. Let's just go straight to this, Cal.
Go on, let's do it.
Earth 2. Earth 2 was a project that was announced a while ago, and you and me were pretty critical of it, for want of a better kind of phrase. We were very critical of it.
Yeah.
Now weirdly, I'm not... It's going to sound weird. I'm not completely against what they say they're trying to do, because I want them to achieve it. I want them... I think you do as well. You want them to achieve it.
If they can do what they're saying they're going to do, that's great for everybody. There's no denying that, and I've been very open about that as well. It is...
Yeah.
It would be game-changing, quite literally.
I would love it. You would love it. We would play it.
Yep.
If what they said they were going to create was happened, that would be absolutely amazing. Now, unfortunately, critiquing something involves pointing out the potential flaws and the blatant lies that I think are just happening at lots of points along this. Lots of YouTubers have done this. I've done it. You've done it. Kira TV critiqued them. Big Fry, Sid Alpha. Everyone kind of said, it looks a little bit dodgy. And recently, I think Shane, the kind of cult-like leader behind all of this, and I do think it's very cult-like.
It is.
When you
I
look
don't think
at,
you can deny that.
No, when you look at Shane's defenders on Discord or on Twitter, people get really hyped up when he talks. Like when he types on Discord, people think it's some kind of messiah.
Oh yeah, it's the best way of wording it. It's like a cult. There is no other way to word that.
You know that bit in that Life of Brian when he turns around and shouts, "I'm not the Messiah," and everyone else is there going, "I am, you are, I agree," and they all just follow him. That's what it is. People have said in chat that's like a crypto thing. It's almost quasi-religious, isn't it? This whole crypto, NFT, this idea of a superior technological state.
Yeah. And their logic is always circle logic.
Yeah.
There's two things that both need to be proven, but they both rely on each other to prove each other. And it's just, you never get to the proving of the individual things in that circle. It's weird.
It's like fact A says that fact B is true, and fact B says that fact A is true. So if they are both equally true, they both must be true. They prove each other. NFTs will make money because NFTs are making money, which means NFTs will make money because they're making money, and it cycles. But if one of these things actually is questioned and breaks down, the other breaks down as well. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I think Shane just got a little bit annoyed with you, didn't he? Because you've been pointing out a lot of the either inconsistencies in the videos or what they've claimed they can do, recreate Earth on a one-to-one scale with incredible graphics and create a virtual world and a virtual metaverse. You've been there every step of the way to critique them, haven't you, Callum?
Yes, I have, because it's quite easy to throw around buzzwords and turn a 3-word sentence that's concise and clear into a 2-paragraph description of something that means the same but sounds 10 times harder.
You know, when we go to Insomnia, you know how there are going to be companies there selling games with new projects. How many times do you think someone is going to say the word metaverse to us?
Mate, I'm getting ready with the earbuds. I'm taking the Galaxy Buds and they're going in when I go through the indie section. Yeah, we're walking through the indie section of games. NFTs, metaverses, that's what it's going to be. That's all it'll be, honestly, no joke.
If anyone just walks up to me and says it's a turn-based RPG offline, I'll be like, done. I'll play it for the next 3 days. If someone walks up and goes, it's kind of like Command & Conquer, done. Sold. I'll buy that. But Shane got pissed off with you constantly critiquing him.
Very pissed off, yeah.
What happened, Cal?
So, backstory. I made a video going through their first devlog and basically saying what everything in there means without all the herdy-wordy nonsense over the top of it, and what they've actually proven and what they haven't. Now, a very small 10-second clip in that video is of me saying that their biome index mapping would take 30 minutes to recreate.
What is
very
biome...
specifically?
Assume that I have no idea what biome index mapping is, because I actually don't. What is it?
It's basically pointing to a biome and saying this biome is this biome, and this other biome is this biome. And they are separate things.
And the differences will be weather effects, ambient lighting, creatures that spawn, any kind of stuff like that.
Whether it's a desert, whether it's got grass, whether it's got lush trees or
okay, so you have a huge
dead bushes.
Big 3D virtual world, couple of spaces. If it's, let's say it's procedurally generated, when you're generating stuff in the desert region, you might generate a snake or an oasis or a thing.
Someone's just said, so like Minecraft. That is the best example that I think most people will understand. Yes, like Minecraft.
And they've tried to map the biomes to what Earth actually has.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Sounding good so far.
But they didn't show any of that.
Right, they just said they had it.
They said they had it, yeah.
Okay.
So after that 30-minute statement that I made about a single feature that they didn't show, Shane made a call-out video challenging me to remake the entirety of that video that I was looking at in 7 days, but claiming that I'd said I could do it in 30 minutes, which is factually, like, false. You can see that.
So you said a small process of their overall product would probably take about 30 minutes to create.
Yes.
And Shane, the CEO, the guy in charge, the ringleader, the cult leader, the guy who's worth, millions, took time out of his very important, very busy day
Yeah.
to specifically make a YouTube video calling you out and
Yes.
saying to you, why don't you try and recreate Earth 2 in 7 days?
Yeah, that is exactly what he did.
Brilliant.
And
It's nice to know he's got the time to do that.
Yeah, exactly. He hasn't got the time to pay the 4 winners that won the egg hunt. Still,
they-
months down the line.
Are they
They're
the
commenting
original-
on. Well, they're
Original
the
or the non-original? Because there was people who won the egg hunt, but then they got changed, and other people... For those who are unaware, whenever Earth 2 updates come out, they hide like a little Easter egg, either in pictures or on web pages, and if you find them all, you win some money. Is that correct, Cal?
Yeah, so these are the ones that he actually publicly announced won the challenge.
Okay.
And every tweet that he's put out about this challenge, they are all commenting below on that tweet saying, is that also the same time frame for you to pay us for the thing we won?
Right, so people have won the challenge. He's generated the hype, but he's not sent the money out to them.
Nope.
Gotcha. Okay. So he's got time to make a call-out video to you, but not to pay the people he's promised money to. Right.
Exactly.
So he wants you to recreate all of Earth 2 in 7 days, which is not really related to the thing that you said was possible to do.
Yeah, not at all.
But I can see why he wants to do it. What do you get if you are able to recreate Earth 2 in 7 days?
Well, I get $10,000 apparently.
Dollars. Okay.
Dollars.
That's fine. It's about, what, 7,000, 8,000 pounds?
Yeah, something like that.
Not an insubstantial amount of money.
No.
That's a decent amount of cash. He will give you $10,000 if you recreate Earth 2 in 7 days.
Yes.
I think we all know that it's going to be very difficult to recreate exactly what Earth 2 is like in 7 days because of the complexity of the project, because of the not necessarily the graphics, but the jewels and the gems and the shop.
Well, not create it to that entirety.
Okay.
So he gave 7 bullet points on like criteria that have to be met for this challenge.
Do you have all 7 bullet points? I'd love to talk through them.
Yeah, I can't bring it up on stream right now because of the screen sharing method, but let me...
If you send it to... If it is somewhere, I can find it on my phone and we can talk through it. So, Shane...
It's on his video in the description.
Okay,
if you can pull that up.
Yeah, let's see if I can grab it. He sent you 7 bullet points. 7 bullet points that you have to hit in order to satisfy this condition.
Yes, except... He's moved the goalpost numerous times after the initial challenge was posed because he shit himself when he realised I was actually going to do it.
Oh, interesting. Okay, let's have a quick check. Shane Isaac, Earth 2 founder. There's only... He's got 2 videos, Candid Thoughts and Calling You Out.
Yeah.
And so far, his Candid Thoughts are on 1.7 thousand views. And Calling You Out is on 3.6. So it turns out that putting the word scam in a YouTube video title does in fact get more views. So Shane is discovering this as well.
Who'd have guessed?
I know, it's like something we've known for a while. Right, let's have a look. Challenge details. Let's have a look. Right, number 1. Challenge details. You must create a world with 774,000 meters by 774,000 meters. So that's 774 kilometers by 774 kilometers. That's a big world.
Yeah, and many games have done it.
Okay, so I know that Daggerfall, one of the first Elder Scrolls games, Daggerfall I think still holds the record for one of the largest flat games, and that came out 1990s. That was an old game.
Yeah,
but that's ridiculous. So that's a massive game world, 774 by 774. I mean, square root wise, that's absolutely massive. Let's just, because you've got to times it together, haven't you? So
yeah.
774.
All I'm going to say is, I've not only done what he's asked, I have massively one-upped him.
So he wanted you to create a virtual game world with 599,000 square kilometers in it.
Yes.
That's a big bit. 599, that's bigger than some countries.
Yeah.
I mean, also, I suppose it depends what scale we're kind of working to, because if, like, your character is the size of an ant, then it's going to be quite big. But if your character is, like, the size of a city...
Yeah. And you're making a good point here, because as you go through these points, you'll realise just how vague they are.
Yeah, because saying to someone, create a game world that's 774,000 kilometres... To what? To what kind of scale? I mean, think about it, guys. Yeah. If you're playing a game and you're playing a regular Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption 2 where your character is actually the size of a human, then it's going to be pretty easy to map 774,000 square kilometers. You could, map it pretty much one-to-one with one step equaling roughly 1 meter. You could then work that out. But what if the playable character in your game is Godzilla, and every step Godzilla takes would cover a kilometer? Have you just suddenly reduced the size of your game world by 1,000 times, but you can still say, oh, it's 774,000 because as far as the actual human is concerned, that's how big it is. That's very vague.
And that doesn't even counter one of the bigger problems.
Okay.
Size in a game engine is abstract. Well, distance is. So let's use Unreal as an example. I have a grid in that game where each tile is, I think, 100 meters by 100 meters, or it's 1 meter by 1 meter. Can't remember off the top of my head. You can change it in the engine, and this is the point.
Okay.
It's a ruler that you have assigned to a non-linear measurement. So you could say that distance is now 1,000 kilometers, and because you've said it is, it is.
I also suppose that you don't necessarily have to have the entire map loaded in one go, because many games have massive open worlds, but they trick you with loading screens. So this is going to sound silly, but have you seen that Rick and Morty episode where they're trapped in the virtual reality, and when it breaks, you realise that actually they were just on a big disc, and as they travelled toward the edge, the disc just kind of moved with them?
Yeah.
That's what... You don't need to have all 1,000 kilometres loaded in. You could just see 3 kilometres with a skybox around you, and then as you get closer to a certain direction, it just kind of... like a treadmill rolling under the player almost.
Exactly. That is one way you can do it.
Okay.
But they've put a caveat in the next few steps
Gotcha.
As to how they want it done.
Right, so you must create an absolutely massive world. That seems fine.
Yeah.
Number 2, you must use clip mapping. What's clip mapping?
Clip mapping is basically, imagine you're stood on a grid of grids. Now, the grid that you're on will be at full resolution. The grids around that will be at a slightly lower resolution, further out slightly lower, and so on.
Reducing the amount of processing power needed for things the further away they get.
Yeah, because if something's a kilometer in the distance, you don't need that full resolution. It's going to take up, 20 pixels on your screen, maybe.
Yeah. And you can even see this in old games when you kind of run forward and the objects kind of fade from just a big block texture to nicer textures to nicer textures. Like trees having more branches appear on them and stuff. Happens in Skyrim all the time. So you must use clip mapping to do that. Doesn't that make it easier or harder?
Clip mapping is required.
Okay, cool. So
for literally every open world game.
Right, so there's no real reason for him to say that. It just has to be.
No, exactly.
Right, rule number 3 that you must hit. Utilize a base height map with 32 meter sample distance. Any other map spanning over the whole terrain is not allowed. No global color map, no global normal map, no curvature map. We worked all of that out using our own tech based on height map data alone. Let's just go back to the start of that. Utilize a base height map with 32 meter sampling distance. Is the M standing for meter in that? 32 meter?
Yeah.
What's a base height map?
Hey, how do I explain this in a way that's understandable?
In a way that give me it in YouTube a dummy talk, because I don't. This is magic to me. Basic game designers are just wizards.
Yeah. So it's basically the distance at which the terrain height data is sampled at.
Okay.
Is probably the easiest way to try to explain that.
So does that mean that if there's a mountain in the real world, it needs to map a mountain to it based at 32 meter intervals?
Sort of. Imagine it's sort of like you're taking a picture of a dog the other side of your garden.
Okay.
If you're 32 meters away, the resolution's going to be different than if you're 2 meters away.
Right, so are we talking every 32 meters needs to be a difference as far as when the player is close to it is concerned?
Sort of, yeah.
Just something to do with height.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
The resolution of height data is the easiest way to put it.
People in the chat, I mean, you're a wizard, Cal. Think about it. Games designers, people that sit down and write the plots, just creative people. People that actually, program, you've tricked a rock into thinking by zapping it with electricity. That's magic. When someone goes, what do wizards do? My computer, tiny little metal bits with little rocks zapped with electricity. If I'd have told someone that's how it works, they'd have said that is literally just magic. That's what it is. Right, so you're going to do something with height. Number 4. The compressed height map. I'm guessing that means the data that controls where the virtual world is and stuff.
Yeah.
Has to be streamed from disk, uncompressed in the background, on the CPU with multi-threading, and the rest has to be done in shader on the GPU. Things like curvature and colours and stuff. So when you're playing the game, all of the game has to be immediately streamed from your hard disk using your processor, but anything extra in the game can be assisted using a graphics card.
Yeah, so this one is the funniest one to me.
Okay.
He has said in a lot of words what can easily be said in a few.
Okay. And what were those few...
You load an image off the disk from its compressed form.
Can you give me an example of a game doing that? I mean, that's probably a very simple thing, but I want to make sure that we're on the same page.
Literally any application, any game.
So I've got The Witcher 3 installed on my hard drive. I load up The Witcher 3, I play The Witcher 3, it is probably being streamed from my hard drive. My graphics driver is definitely helping with some of the processing stuff, but when I enter a new area, that data is being streamed from the hard drive.
Yeah, let's break it down into components of that sentence. Streamed from disk. Where else are you going to stream it from?
Just loaded? Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe
so
not like an online game. Okay. Hang on.
You're starting to realise now, aren't you, how dumb that sentence is?
So it's not like an online game, because not everything in online games is always streamed from the disk. How would you know where other players' information is?
The assets are streamed from disk, including map.
Okay, because that's what you download an MMORPG. I'm playing, RuneScape. You're playing RuneScape. The buildings are all on my computer as far as data goes, but your actions aren't on my disk. Your actions are sent to me via the server.
The server is telling you where to take that asset from the disk and put it, like where to put it in the world, but it is all still coming from disk.
Okay, cool. So we've got all that. So you pretty much just load the game.
And then, like, the next component to that sentence is uncompress in the background. So, that's just such a weird thing to state, because you're not going to bring up a GUI to show it's uncompressing. You're not going to pop up a loading bar.
You don't so if I'm playing Skyrim and I run forward and a tree in front of me loads, that asset might be compressed data on the hard drive, but when it loads in the game, its uncompressed version is a tree. I'm not going to see a kind of white and grey checkerboard image there with a little bar that says loading, and when it gets full, the tree appears. It's just going to be there. Okay, cool. So
and then streamed into GPU for the shader. If it's a texture, which height map data is interpreted as a texture, where else are you going to do it? You use a graphics card for graphics. I'm not going to have the RAM try and do something
Someone
with
please
the image.
clip Callum saying you use a graphics card for graphics. that is the level of genius that we're dealing with here. That Callum knows his shit. All right, you do, and you don't. Do you use a sound card for graphics? No.
That's actually an example I made when I was in VC earlier, talking about this. Like, you're taking the basic fundamentals of how a thing works, a standard thing, and you are like complicating the explanation of it to the point that it sounds genius.
You know, one thing, I've been teaching for a long time, and I've taught lots of different lessons, but mostly drama. One of the biggest things I ever learned was an amateur will use very complicated words to explain a very simple concept in order to make themselves sound clever. Whereas an expert will often use very simple words to explain a very complicated concept, because they aren't bothered about sounding clever, they're bothered about getting the information across to somebody else. Whenever I teach anything to anyone, I always say to them, I am going to talk to you as if you are 5 years old. It's not because I want to patronise you, and it's not because I think you aren't smart. It's because it's the only way I can guarantee that I am getting all the information across to you in the simplest way possible, and I understand it as well.
There's a saying, the simplest explanation is usually the best.
Yeah.
And someone said in chat, you can use CPU for graphics, but why in your right mind would you do that?
Yeah, because...
You'd be going out of your way to offload an easy task for an easy piece of hardware to something that's not... It's like having me and you having a race to hammer a nail into the wall. You use a hammer, and instead of picking up the hammer right next to me, I just headbutt the nail into the wall. It's a question of why.
Old PCs and laptops that don't have graphics cards in them had to use the CPU to process games, but that's why games would hit such a hard snag of how good they could be. You could play old MS-DOS games, you could play... I've replayed Baldur's Gate recently, you could run that on the CPU easily, but you couldn't do it with things like The Witcher, or things like Elden Ring.
Yeah.
It's... Okay, so basically that whole sentence is, load the game and use the graphics card.
Yeah.
For bits. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's... I really do think that if... Have you... Guys in the chat, have you ever met someone who uses really complicated words to explain something, and then you realise this person isn't as clever as they think? They're just using words in a complicated way to make themselves appear clever. I've noticed that all the time. My favourite one... Sorry to go off on a slight tangent, but that is the name of the tavern. Bruce Lee. One of the most influential martial arts masters of all time. Bruce Lee famously said... There's a 3-stage saying. He said, before I knew martial arts, a block was just a block. A kick was just a kick, and a punch was just a punch. And when I was learning martial arts, they were the most complicated things in the world. The blocks had so many moves, the punches had so many moves, the kicks had so many variables. But once I'd learned, and once I actually fully understood them, they went back to being just a block, just a punch, and just a kick.
Yeah.
It's the... What is that graph? It's not Beta Meinhof. I'm sure it's something else. It's where when you don't know something, you think you're bad at it, and then you know a little... Dunning-Kruger. You know a little bit, and you think you're amazing, and then you know an absolute shitload, and you realise you know nothing.
Yeah.
That's
they
what
are
it
definitely...
is.
They are in the process of learning what technology is, and they think they know everything.
Yeah. Bruce Lee is, again, second famous example. He took out his wallet and he threw it at one of his students, and his student just kind of blocked it out the air, kind of instinctively. And Bruce Lee said, what block did you use? Did you use an inside forearm block? Did you use a head block? Did you use a low block? And the guy said, I just stopped your wallet from hitting me. And Bruce Lee went, exactly. Do that with everything.
Yeah.
When you're learning martial arts and you learn that... Because I had a real problem with this. I was doing like an outside forearm block, which is where you bring your arm up and you bring it across. So your opponent's attacking you and you kind of block it out that way. And then I was learning head block, which is where I kind of lift my arm above. And I thought, hang on, there is a moment, there has to be a moment when it stops from being a head block to an outside forearm block. Like, it depends what angle, what degree.
Yeah.
My brain kind of wanted to know at what moment does this switch and become something else. And as I started to learn, I realised... There is no moment it switches. It's just a generic term we've given for a general kind of block. So to bring this back to Shane and the Earth 2 lot, they're using a lot of really complicated words to explain really specific things that would probably be explained so much simpler.
Yeah. And to further prove that that's what they do, I mean, Devlog 1 was funny, right? Devlog 2 was hysterical.
I haven't watched either of these yet, so I'm looking forward to them.
Oh my lord, you need to watch Devlog 2. So, Devlog 2, they showed a water tower that they'd modelled. Very low poly water tower, it doesn't matter.
Okay, yeah, cool.
That's fine. They'd made a water tower, cool. Okay. But it is a proprietary functioning asset. Not just, here's a model we made.
Okay, and so then, hang on, no. Proprietary. That means it works within a specific context or with a specific system. So, like the game engine they've got, the game rendering engine they've got, all that kind of system. Yeah. Proprietary. Functioning asset. It is useful and it does something and you can see it in the game.
Yeah.
So, asset.
An asset, yeah.
Okay.
But that wasn't even the bit, like, that had me chuckling. The bit that they followed up with, I lost it. Absolutely lost it. So I was watching that video with the Nightmare World developers, and it was just a roar of laughter.
Okay.
So they then went on to talk about their proprietary shading tech It's literally a dynamic instance material
So
that's standard in both game engines out the box.
So shading tech. Explain what shading tech does to me in the most basic way.
So you've got your model. It's grey. There's nothing on it. You are an unpainted Warhammer figure at this point.
That gets me right there. We're on the same. Okay, completely
Okay.
on board with you right now, Cal.
So you now make like a coating to go over it, to colour it, to
Ooh, okay.
show how metallic certain areas are.
So we're going with
And-
like ultramarine blue, Calgar blue. We'll start off maybe with chaos black.
Yeah,
I need to know the colour that we're doing.
Oil, your bit of
Gotcha.
Nuln oil over the top. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay, lovely.
they've got 3 different coloured segments, like the main colour, a band around both the top and the bottom of the tower, and then like a third detail that was separately coloured.
Okay.
And they
like
were
a
showing
Baldur's Gate style character.
exactly, and they were going through changing the colour of each of these 3 pieces, and then they said you can change the dielectricness of it. You can change how dielectric this material is, like metallic, right?
I mean, I like to think of myself as a pretty educated person. I went to university. First thing my brain went was, the fuck is dielectric?
Yeah, and they did that purposely, because what they're meaning to say is how metallic it is.
Oh, right,
know-
gotcha, metallic. Okay.
Do you know why they didn't say the word metallic?
Dielectric sounds better?
No, because the slider they were changing that is default in their game engine is called metallicness.
And if they'd have said metallic, it might have been obvious that they were using a default slider.
Yeah.
When they say proprietary, that means it doesn't work with anything else. Proprietary
Pretty
is tech
much.
that you own and create. Have they actually created proprietary tech, or are they just using stuff from the thing? Have they made their own game engine?
No. They're using a modified version of Unity, but they won't, as usual, tell anyone how it's modified or what they've modified.
I'm trying to wrap my head around this slowly. You know P.T. Barnum? There was a film made about him recently called The Greatest
Yeah.
Showman. P.T. Barnum,
Yes.
there was a P.T. Barnum musical many years before The Greatest Showman happened. And one of my favourite lines in that was people had to pay money to come into P.T. Barnum's circus. And he had a big sign around halfway around saying, "To the egress." And people thought, what's an egress? It means exit. Right? That's what it is. It's exit. Egress and ingress. You can use those words for it. So people were saying to him, all of his staff and stuff, they won't know what this word means. And Barnum said, ooh, they will when they get outside. And the whole point was he was using a complicated word that people wouldn't know to make them go outside, so they had to buy another ticket if they wanted to come in again. That was what it was. The whole point of using a complicated word was to benefit him.
Yeah.
It seems that they're using complicated words because they don't want to just say simple shit, which I would have so much more respect for a developer if they just used really simple words to explain
Yeah.
what they were doing.
But here's the thing. If they used the actual terms, the basic fundamentals of what they're saying, their video would consist of, here is a run-of-the-mill game in a run-of-the-mill game engine using the basic engine features that everybody has been using for the last 20 years. Get excited.
The water tower that they've made. If I were to download or purchase the programs required to make a 3D asset and a game engine, would I, with my very limited knowledge, be able to make a cylinder with a sphere on top?
Yeah.
Do you think I'd be able to colour it so I could maybe alter the colour of those items in the game?
Yes, and in fact, I did it in 20 minutes of their devlog going live and posted it on Twitter. Modelled it, made a custom proprietary shader for it, and as you're going to see in the video tomorrow, I have even gone one step further with it.
I'm looking forward to your video tomorrow, man. I really am. Ladies and gents,
Yeah.
Callum is putting a video out on this tomorrow where he goes through the entire process. I am very much looking forward to it. I'm going to have to do a follow-up video on it for 2 reasons. One, easy views. Why wouldn't I? To be fair, you know, this is drama going on. I'm not involved in it. Well, I might be. there might be. But yeah, why?
There's a chance.
Exactly. Why wouldn't I do that? And 2, I think that I need to just push some attention toward Cal. Obviously, I get on well with Cal. We're friends, and I'm on Team Callum here. But it's very important to understand, I don't want Earth 2 to fail. I want Earth 2 to be honest and genuine with what it is. We're going to get back to the list in a second, with the list of things he wants you to hit, but
Yeah.
You know when Shane tweeted out this challenge to you?
Yeah.
Didn't he then tweet out, which was very quickly deleted, but thankfully someone got? He tweeted out about this. He said something like, I knew there was a shadow cabal of YouTubers behind the scenes pulling the strings for Earth 2's failure. You know, attacking it, like Kira TV and Sid Alpha and you, Callum. And I'm not going to pretend that I'm not annoyed. I wasn't mentioned in the Shadow Cabal.
I noticed.
I was
We're
properly...
going to have to get you a ticket.
I know. I was really annoyed. It's like, it's a conspiracy. And then Shane just names all these YouTubers. And I'm thinking, excuse me, Shane. I've made a video or two on Earth 2. Why am I not on the Shadow Council? So I had to tweet toward Kira TV. You know that scene from The Office where Michael's like, love inside jokes. Love to be part of one someday. I just changed inside jokes to the word Shadow Cabal. So yes.
I did love that.
Cal,
that was great.
Tell me about the Shadow Cabal.
Yeah, apparently. It goes deeper, have you heard? We're all apparently working for Next Earth, which is apparently a direct copy of Earth 2, and Shane's losing his shit because they added the word resources to their website. And they have fully copied his completely proprietary idea.
Hang on. Shane thinks that we are all secretly working for his competition.
Yeah.
Does Shane know that I've just been doing nothing but playing Elden Ring for the last week? Like, if I was working for anyone apart from myself, they would be pissed at my work rate.
Yeah, same here.
That's what they would be. They'd be, Josh, you've done nothing. I'm like, that's not true. I've leveled my katana to plus 18. I've got the mimic to plus 8. I am wrecking shit in Elden Ring. That's what I'm doing. We'll talk about Elden Ring at some point. But so, Cal, can you confirm or deny that there is or isn't a shadow cabal of YouTubers whose entire existence is focused on destroying Earth 2?
I mean, there's not, but I think we might as well create one and get the credit for what we're actually not doing, so, you know.
I'm going to create the shadow cabal.
Let's do it.
It's going to be a thing. I want badges, I want ponchos, I want on mugs. Oh my god, if we are all... yes.
I thought you said badges. I'm like, what sort of cabal are we making here?
Badges, Cal.
I know what you mean now.
No. What? I mean, can you imagine us rocking up to MCM or Insomnia or some kind of event and we're like, the Shadow Cabal is here, release the badges, and it just floods in. Someone on the quick, we must run to Earth 2 to escape the That's what we need. Model a badger in Earth 2. Let's see if it can happen.
That'd be amazing.
Right, so we've gone through these rules. Number 4, the compressed height map, that was weird. Number 5, the 5th rule that Shane needs Callum to hit.
It's Shane's 7 commandments.
Shadow badgers. I'm just thinking, like, all of us. You know that bit in Hot Fuzz where they're all sat around the table for the greater good? Is that what it is? Are we all sat around a big stone table with hoods up?
And a badger under each arm.
Under the arm. Oh, fantastic. Right, so for those of you just joining us, Shane Isaacs is the guy behind Earth 2. And he's got a little bit annoyed at Callum just constantly calling him out on everything he says. So he's challenged Cal to do better. He's given Cal 7 days and 7 commandments that I'm reading off my tablet to hit and recreate a game from scratch. And Cal's given it a damn good go. But I'm up to commandment 5. You need to be able to have the same detail achievable on any point of the world. We use the location in British Columbia, Canada, but our tech works the same for any place in the world. I mean, even that's self-explanatory enough to me. I understand that.
Right, what do you think it means?
Whatever level of detail you choose to put in the world must be constant across all of it. And the higher level you go, that's pretty much just as high as you think you can go.
So that everywhere you travel to in this demo should be the same detail no matter where you go, right?
So if one place looks like Minecraft, everywhere looks like Minecraft. If one place looks like Red Dead Redemption, everywhere looks like Red Dead Redemption. But it's up to you the level of detail you want to choose.
So, Shane saw a GIF that I'd posted of what I'd done so far on Twitter and immediately went into the Discord and said, that point means that you match the visual fidelity of Earth 2. Nowhere in that point does it specify that. Otherwise, you could have said, bear with me, I know this is difficult.
Okay.
Your game needs to match the visual fidelity of Earth 2.
That is a much simpler sentence.
Yep.
So far, we have rewritten Shane's 7 commandments for creating a game in much simpler to understand and much more accurate language. Right, so your game must match the... They've raised millions.
Yeah.
They've got tech they've already created, haven't they? He's got drone behind him already. He's got stuff ready. So he wants you in 7 days to not only recreate an area 774,000 by 774,000, which ends up being a couple of million square kilometers, and with a height map of 32 meters, and to be streamed from the disk, which happens with everything anyway. He wants you to have the same level of detail as Earth 2. Now, here's a very important question. Have Earth 2 actually shown any levels of detail, or have they just shown videos of stuff?
They have just shown videos. And this leads on to the next thing. I was looking through their videos recently of all of their demos, and the frame rate is unusually inconsistent between clips that are connected to each other.
Does that mean there's a
rendered?
Oh, so it's not actually a live screen
real-time.
Screen recording of real-time stuff. It's a rendered video.
Yeah. You can use some software to go through a video and not use the actual video's frame rate, but use the amount of time it's taking for the frames in that video to change, right?
Okay.
There are clips that are hardcore locked at bang on 30 FPS.
That's
There
weird.
are then
because
similar clips
even
locked
things,
at bang on, not locked at bang on a number, but floating between 30 and 50.
Okay, so if I were playing a video game and I had a little FPS counter in the corner, if I was staring directly down at the floor, I'd expect it to be something like, 60 or 70. If I was looking up into the distance and lots of stuff was rendering with different particle effects, I'd expect it to drop to about 30. But even if it's doing something similar, you see that little FPS counter, it kind of varies in like 29, 31, it flickers. It never stays totally constant.
Exactly, and the only way that you can get it locked to bang on 30 or bang on 60 is to render it out in like slow-mo and have it combine all those frames.
Yeah, so you're watching a video effectively.
Yeah, and it's quite clear to me that 90% of his videos that are out there are pre-rendered.
Okay, so he wants you to match the visual fidelity of Earth 2, but we don't actually know for a fact what the visual fidelity is.
Nope. Nobody has a clue.
So it's like saying, hey, make all of your game look like either Red Dead Redemption 2 or Morrowind. We don't know which one we're going for yet.
Yeah, and something you'll notice with every point that he's put out there, they are intentionally vague. And the reason for that is so he can disqualify me on absolutely any of them.
Yeah, you're not getting this $10,000.
Oh, no, I know I'm not.
That was never going to happen.
He never intended to pay that. The fact that he started, like, panic tweeting, like, requirement changes. And the one that made me laugh the most is he pointed out that I'd failed the challenge after 30 minutes of his video going live while I was asleep because of time zone differences. I didn't even know there was a challenge at this point.
So he challenged you to 7 days, and 30 minutes later goes, haha, you lose. And you're like, mate, I'm asleep.
And then I'd publicly accepted it about 10 minutes after that tweet when I'd woke up. And then after 24 hours, because I hadn't posted any progress really, he said that I'd failed again because I haven't done it in 24 hours. Despite the fact
Shane
that
understand how days work? Like,
I don't think he does.
If you give someone 7 days, you can't then say they failed after 1. That's not 7.
Shane's making a one-to-one replica of Earth. He's going to have to learn about time zones pretty quickly.
He's also going to have to learn that you can't make a curved game on a flat map, seeing as people have already pointed out that the Google Maps is flat, but the Earth, despite overwhelming amounts of science saying it's flat, is actually curved. The Earth is a globe. Yeah. When you take a flat map of a globe, it always ends up a little bit skewed and a little bit weird. And people have pointed out, I think they use the Taj Mahal with Earth 2. The Taj Mahal takes up a couple of squares, but when you look at the size of those squares, you realise it's not actually correct to what it should be. So, number 5 was, you need to be able to achieve the same detail. We used a location in British Columbia, Canada, but our tech works the same for any place in the world. What does that mean, we used a location in British Columbia, Canada?
So if you actually do maths on the size of British Columbia, that doesn't add up to what he said the size was.
Okay.
That would add up to a lot of America, like a hell of a lot of America.
Right, so when he said we used the location in British Columbia, what does he mean by that? Does he mean that he's used that as a reference point?
It means in his video.
Oh,
in his video, that's what they used. Now, I reached out to Shane, and I asked for the coordinates used in the video.
That seems like a reasonable request.
Because I wanted to mimic the exact location as well.
Okay.
He didn't respond, despite responding to people below me and above me, completely blanked any tweet I put out.
It's probably blocked you.
And the reason that he didn't give me the coordinates is because other people had already found the coordinates he'd used, and they do not match to the size he gave in any, like, magnitude whatsoever.
Brilliant.
Which means that the plane he showed off is not the size that he said it was.
Someone, chat, Conkers, hey chat, first time in stream, does Josh's bit notification read out loud? No, it doesn't. And then that same person said, don't want to interrupt. You have now. Just straight up interrupting the stream. Just coming in, first time, typing in the chat. Callum was talking. Sorry, Callum. You were interrupted by Conker.
Somebody in my chat says, British Columbia is in Canada, you numpty. I understand, but using the location he used as the center point and the size going outwards, it would cover America as well. Bits of America. But in the demo he showed, compared to the world map, it does not. Which means the measurements don't add up to what he said.
No. I still don't understand what he means by we use... What level of graphical fidelity is he going for? Are they going for, like, Red Dead Redemption 2 levels of photorealism? Are they going for absolutely everything needs to look ridiculously accurate? Or are we going for, like, World of Warcraft levels of chunky cartoon-style graphics here? Not that that's bad, it's just a stylized choice.
Yeah.
What level are we going for?
They claim it's Red Dead Redemption, but... if they're claiming that they want to take the texture data from Earth, you're not going to get Red Dead Redemption levels of detail.
No, you need to... That's handcrafted.
Yeah.
That's a handcrafted stuff.
There's going to be rocks placed in the world procedurally, and trees procedurally placed. You're not going to get the same level. You either go for Earth or you go for Red Dead Redemption. You don't claim both, because you can't.
It's huge. So, for those of you just joining us in the chat right now, first of all, welcome. Thank you for coming along. Earth 2 is a project claiming to be the metaverse where they recreate Earth on a one-to-one scale with incredible graphics, with building, and it's just going to be the Matrix, basically. They've even said on their actual website, the Oasis from Ready Player One. The Matrix, that's what they want to be. Callum has been a very vocal critic of this project since the start. He's been pointing out the inconsistencies in it, the impracticalities of it, just generally kind of holding them to answer. And recently, Shane, the guy behind Earth 2, has got really annoyed with Callum and challenged him to recreate it. He's basically said, all right, Cal, do better. And he's given Callum 7 rules that Cal needs to achieve to do better. And we're just going through the rules and trying to make sense of them, because they don't really make that much sense.
Oh, also something I want to point out. I actually got told by one of his employees the reason why he made the challenge out of anger.
Why? Is he just annoyed?
I will say in the video.
Okay, Cal's got a video on this coming out tomorrow. Do you see the professional levels of YouTuber Cal has just reached now? He dangled that little bait in front of you, that little cliffhanger. He's not going to give... You've got to watch the video. This man's a pro. He knows what he's doing.
I'm getting there. It's quite funny because people think that I'm not privy to information from inside Earth 2 and inside their company. They're developers. Well, not necessarily developers, but employees from different areas in there openly come and show me things from inside, and they're like, this is the funniest shit I've seen.
We don't
you'll get a good laugh out of this.
We don't hate them. There's no malice, there's no hate, there's no personal dislike for anyone that's working on the project. If you're working on the Earth 2 project, fair enough, you got to pay. You know, you got to feed your family. You got to pay your bills, you got to pay your rent. There is absolutely no malice and no evil feelings toward you guys at all. Callum and I are on the side of the gamer, the players. You claim you're going to make an amazing project? Sweet, we want it to succeed. But we are absolutely not going to just blindly believe whatever you say. We're going to hold you accountable for every single thing you say you're claiming to do. I made a video recently calling myself out for being wrong.
Yeah, I've done it in the past as well.
Yeah, if we're willing to literally call ourselves out for the fuck-ups that we make, just imagine the levels of, scrutiny we hold other people to.
Yeah.
So number five was the detail, the level of detail. Just so you know, what level of detail are you going for, Cal?
I'm going for a decent level of detail in terms of textures. I'm not an artist, never claimed to be. So I've put my all into that, despite that not being part of the challenge until, Shane moved the goalposts.
Yes.
So it's going to look good.
Okay, brilliant. Any kind of games you were given as an example of what your game might look like?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. It's not going to be like WoW. It's not going to be like Minecraft. It's going to be higher.
Oh, sweet. Okay, cool.
It's going to be more comparable to Earth 2 than any of the other things we've thrown around as examples.
Brilliant. People in the chat are asking if there is a podcast of this. The best way to watch this again is on the YouTube channel The Tangent Tavern, which is organised by Cal, and just type in Tangent Tavern onto YouTube, you find all the old videos. Okay,
actually,
so
Josh, do you know what I'm going to do, Josh? I'm going to send you an example of something. Don't open it on stream.
I'm not going to open it on stream.
It will play in Discord.
Is this an exciting thing?
It's a preview for you.
It might not build up in. It won't show on Discord because I've got it for the two things right now. If there's any kind of music to it, I'll turn it off. But so Callum has been working on a video.
Music.
Brilliant. Callum's been working on a video for this specific challenge, and he'll be updating all of you tomorrow. People are like, Josh, open it on stream, open it on stream. I'm not going to open it on stream.
It'll play in Discord. So this will give you an example of the level of detail that I'm going for.
Okay. Oh, hang on. I can see it there. Oh.
They should be worried. Very worried.
Oh, goddamn.
Yeah.
That's a lot of zooming out.
I did exactly what they asked and more.
That's a lot of zooming out. That's like Google Earth levels of just scrolling the mouse wheel backwards.
Yeah, screw 50,000 kilometers per hour. Try 250.
Christ. Okay, so you've made one hell of a big game world. People are like, sneak peek, sneak peek. You've got to watch Callum's video.
Yeah, there's even more to it. There's even more to it than that, Josh. The gift got cut short, but there's more.
So number 5 was detail, and you're going to be detailed. Number 6, the 6th rule that you need to achieve, the 6th...
commandments.
This is the commandments, isn't it? Is Shane going to be standing on like a badly textured hill with like tablets?
In T-pose with them under his arm next to a badger.
Put it in your game! Please put a T-posing dude in your game on a hill on the exact coordinates that Shane said he used for his game. Yeah. This is just like brilliant.
Josh, I was going to do that.
Do it.
But I was going to start the video with me in T-pose. but then I came up with a better intro that I think people are going to find 10 times funnier than that.
I'm looking forward to this. So, commandment number 6. Navigate the camera over the terrain without popping artifacts or typical clip map artifacts. And by the way, our camera speed in the video is over 50,000 kilometers per hour. So you'll need to do that as well. Okay, let's just go back. Navigate the camera, as in the user can move the camera viewpoint. It's pretty simple so far. Without popping or typical clip map artifacts. Isn't that based on the kind of loading speed of the program?
Yeah, and as you can see again from the GIF I sent you, there is no pop-in, there is no artifacting.
No, there aren't. That wouldn't the user's computer affect that as well? Like if you have a slow hard drive speed, you're not going to be able to load the whole thing as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, so that might involve the user's computer being an issue just there as well. Our camera speed is 50,000 kilometers per hour.
Mm-hmm.
Sure that depends how close the camera is to the ground.
Thank you. So this is another point that I made in my Discord the other day. Is that 50... Because speed isn't linear at distance.
You take a sphere, all right? You take a sphere and you put a point in the centre of it and then you draw a point outwards to it.
Mm-hmm.
Moving at 50,000 kilometres really far away, effectively in space, would only take you, for a little bit, but you'd still see roughly the same thing below you. If that same camera were literally on the floor, moving forward at 50,000 kilometres an hour you're not going to see anything.
Nope.
It's going to be incredibly fast. Like,
Yeah,
it's just going to blur past you.
Yeah, Ren's pointed out in my chat, Shane's store-bought assets pop in like crazy with Unity's default billboards and LODs, so that's a disingenuous point.
Yeah.
So again, he's asking me to do things that he himself hasn't done or can't do or refuses to prove he can.
It does seem like so far Earth 2 haven't got what they want you to make.
Yeah.
They might just buy it off you afterwards. The 10,000 might just be a purchase price.
I'm not letting them do that.
No, brilliant.
I'm doing something else with it.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this. So,
and put it this way, it will be devastating for Earth 2.
Good. Rule number 6 was 50,000 kilometers per hour. Are you able to move the camera at 50,000 kilometers per hour? I mean, from what I can see in the GIF,
it's moving at about like 200 to 250.
Again, but that's also relevant. It's amazing what you've done in the GIF, but it's relevant to the size of the world and what you tell the world it is. You know, if you make a city tiny and then zoom up really fast, you just say, yeah, we've moved this much. I think they're assuming that everything you do is one-to-one mapped with Earth, because that's what they're trying to do, isn't it?
And to avoid any disqualification on that, it is.
Oh, brilliant. Right, number 7. This is the final rule. I'm not sure if this is the most complicated rule, but it is the final one. Change the biomes and water level in real time, similar to what we show in our video footage. Real-time biomes and water level. So
easiest of the lot.
I mean, like the moon controls tides because of gravity, so they kind of want water to just rise and lower in a 24-hour cycle. And this is some Peter Molyneux level stuff, the guy behind Fable, because he once said you'd be able to plant an acorn and watch it grow over the next 5 or 6 years.
Oh, not that.
When he says change the biomes in real time, does he mean like flowers grow, plants grow, animals wander around, bushfires?
Potentially from a gameplay standpoint, but from what Shane's asking, he wants the biomes to change.
Okay, I mean, how would you change a biome? A desert biome
becomes
in real
a swamp.
Time? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, you can do that very easily.
Well, the cool thing is that it says here biomes in real time. Biomes take thousands of years to change in real life.
Yeah, that's one of those points where you'd just be like, I don't know why you want that, but I'll do it anyway just to appease you. But yes, I've done all of the bullet points in that point.
I mean, when he says... I'm trying to wrap my head around that. Here is a virtual forest. Watch it change in real time. Is a player just going to sit there and watch a tree grow? Are they going to come back in like 5 years' time to the same forest and been like, that tree's a little bit taller? Is that what they want to have happen?
Well, I mean, again, they've not shown any of this that they're claiming.
Okay, cool. I mean, I thought the point of Earth 2 was to be able to build a new, different Earth, not just immediately recreate the exact same one. But okay, 7 points. 7 specific challenges. Yeah. Do you think you've managed to hit at least close to all 7? You've hit all of them?
All of them.
Why don't you tell us about the process you went through, Cal? Don't spoil the video, because Callum has a video on this coming out tomorrow. And then I'm going to make a follow-up video to his video because drama and easy views, to be honest. But why don't you tell us about the process you went through, Cal?
So, I took the first day, up until the point that he disqualified me for apparently using 10 devs when there was nothing in my engine at that point anyway. I took the first day to plan out how I'm going to achieve that in 7 days.
Can we just take a second to admire how important that is? Cal, what you did there was perfect. Yeah. Abraham Lincoln once said, if you give me like 2 hours to chop down a tree, I will spend the first hour sharpening the axe. Preparation is key. You didn't jump into it. Prepare.
Yeah.
How did the prep go?
Because if I was to do anything in the wrong order, that would set me back potentially a day per system I'm making. Because a lot of these systems rely on the previous system or rely on 2 previous systems. So they had to be done in an order that made sense in a time frame that also made sense.
Okay.
So 7 days for this was a ridiculous ask of anyone. Not just because it's 7 days, but because it was sprung on me, unexpected, and I also do work. I do things as well.
You've got a job.
I didn't dedicate 7 full days just sweating over it to get it done. I think in time that I actually put into this, 3, maybe 3.5 days.
Okay, brilliant. So 3.5 days of actual work time.
So the process. I originally said I was going to release the project files for everybody.
Okay.
Now, I realised that that defeats the purpose of it. Because what that does is that gives Shane his missing puzzle piece, and then he still doesn't have to pay the 10k.
Yeah, if you say, hey, here's how I did what you asked me to do, and he turns around and goes, you didn't do it perfectly, but thanks for all the data.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not necessarily about even copying the code one for one. If he copies the techniques that I used,
yeah,
they can figure the code out. It's not rocket science in that respect.
So
I'm not going to go too much into detail about how I've done any of these things, because I don't want to give him that. But he'll see that I've done it.
What strikes me as odd is Shane is not an idiot. He may be a cult leader. He may be a very charismatic, possibly Dunning-Kruger effect guy. But he's not stupid. Well, apart from this potential challenge, we'll look at the ramifications of the results on that in a second. If he has access to the amount of money that he has, surely he could have found a developer who could have done this.
He's paying them 250k per head per year. And do you know where I think that originally where I thought this challenge came from is the developers, because he said he sat down and watched it with his developers, right? I reckon they're sat there just leeching paychecks month after month, doing basic stuff, which, I can't say they're doing bad work. They're just doing work.
Mate, for 250k, I'll work for him.
Yeah. But I imagine that they're going, oh, Shane, we've made something so proprietary this month. And in fact, they've done it in like an evening, right?
It just reminds me of when you said changing the colour on the water tower. Like, if you ever played Red Alert or Red Alert 2, you know when you choose your unit's colour in the menu and it's like a little drop-down menu with a little like yellow or green or blue?
That's what it is.
And then when you put a building down in the game, like a power plant or a hand of Nod, it's just like a different ring colour. That's what
it is. That's actually what it is. And it's kind of funny because I imagine his devs were the ones initially panicking, thinking, shit, we've just been completely outed for freeloading and claiming we've done all this extra work. So they've gone Shane and said, Shane, he's full of it. He's chatting out his arse and everything. And then Shane's like, yeah, he is. Let's go do this. and Shane's just fired a homing missile that is definitely going to go back home.
Gotcha. So he's challenged you to do this.
Yeah.
Let's just take a look at the ramifications of this challenge. Let's say that you fail absolutely everything, just hypothetically. You fail everything. Shane doesn't necessarily look good, because his hardcore fanboys are going to support him no matter what. You've got to support Daddy Shane. But the average people are going to see one of the first things that Earth 2 is now known for is calling out a YouTuber and spending their time and their resources and their CEO's time effectively saying, stop teasing us, do better.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really look good for a multi-million company or anyone, really. Anyone with kind of that levels of power and influence, you don't want to punch down. You always want to punch up.
And there's further ramifications to that. Because if he claims I've failed, the burden of proof falls on him to prove that they did the thing that they're claiming I didn't match.
Okay.
And they can't.
And then people are going to start looking at your video and saying, well, the 7 things he asked for were a little bit unfair. Callum actually did a really good job on this, that, and the other. Maybe Earth 2, with its millions and its many developers, should have been a bit further along than they are. So even if you absolutely fail, it doesn't necessarily ingratiate the Earth 2 project into the eyes of the public. It might do into the hardcore NFT, crypto, metaverse kind of bro culture. Because, we've managed to beat the shadow cabal. But it doesn't ingratiate them to anyone else. Let's say that you do, like, 3 out of the 7. You achieve a couple of things. That would be bad for Earth 2.
Yeah.
One dude in his room making anything remotely similar to the project they've invested millions in would be devastating.
Yeah. Yeah. And in fact, their Discord has been a volley of shit over the last 5 days, because even their hardcore fans are saying, I'm holding off on buying more tiles, I'm trying to liquidate my portfolio, I can't even say that without laughing, until I see what Callum's made. And they're basically saying, if he even makes 10% of what was asked of him, that's embarrassing for Earth 2.
Yeah. If you even do a small bit of this, then it's going to show that actually, if one dude in his room could do 10%, then in theory, 20 dudes with a couple of million between them should have been able to produce something absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
The worst case scenario is that you do all 7 for Earth 2.
Mm-hmm.
What would happen if you actually did produce a playable game? When they say game, do they just mean like tech demo that you can fly around in? Or is there actually something... There's nothing you can do, is there?
They don't have a game. They don't have a player.
What about the buggy? We had that video with the buggy driving around, Cal.
Oh, fun fact here.
Yeah.
So Shane put his foot well and truly in his mouth.
Okay.
So he said in that buggy demo that this is the tech they've been working on for the last year, right?
Okay.
On Twitter, he went and he put out a tweet that says, no, this demo that we've asked Callum to make took 1.5 developer, he says, 1 to 2 months to make. What have they been doing for the other, like, 9-10 months?
Making
so, do you know what he did after
gems
that?
And jewels. What did he do, Cal?
He realised he'd contradicted what he'd said in that video, and he's removed the buggy video off YouTube. Because everybody called him out. Yeah.
The buggy videos, that was my favourite bit. That was the physics demo.
Yeah, I've got it all downloaded, so we're all good.
Good. He was showing physics. And the physics I saw was that when the buggy ends up upside down, it will immediately self-right.
Yeah.
Physics.
I have something more exciting, though. It may be Rip Buggy video, but I know that Shane is going to try and call me out, saying that I'm not privy to information from inside Earth 2.
Okay.
I have their initial tech demo for this tech demo that they haven't publicly shown. One of their employees sent it me, and he was like, you are going to piss yourself. And yeah, so I might show that in the video tomorrow.
Callum has a video on this coming out tomorrow. Guys, you need to watch it. Can we tell them about my involvement with it, or do you want that to be a surprise?
That can be a surprise.
That's a surprise. I'm not a big part in it. Like, I'm not a big part at all. Cal just sent me a single message saying, what do you think of this? And I gave my opinion, and then he added that in. But tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow is going to be the video to be there. How have the Earth 2 community reacted to this? Because you mentioned briefly about the Discord and the Twitter thing, but because the hardcore fanboys are going to be all, yeah, beat Callum, you know, smash Cal, shut up Cal, scam tuber. But the more kind of mediocre, middle road people might be a bit apprehensive about this.
I was surprised with this. I thought I was going to search their Discord for anything that mentions Callum. And I thought I was just going to find a load of people just flinging shit at me, right?
Yeah.
It's about 50-50.
Oh.
And I searched the people that were, like, in the middle ground with this, and they are active Earth 2 members that are, up until this point, hardcore supporters. So it really does seem like even they're taking a step back and thinking, oh, maybe I should wait for the outcome on this. And there's other people saying... There's a comment that really made me laugh. They said, Shane, did you do your research on anything that Callum does at all? They were like, if there was ever anybody to say, you do it to, Callum was not the one to say it to.
You've made several games out of just spite, from what I can remember. For those of you who have just joined us in the chat, Earth 2, the metaverse project of a one-to-one recreation of Earth, I was extremely critical, Callum was critical, Kira was critical, Big Fry TV was critical, Sid Alpha was critical, we formed the Shadow Cabal, that's just to force Earth 2 to fail. And now Earth 2's CEO Shane has got so annoyed with Callum constantly saying that's wrong that he's basically said to Cal, if you can do it better, do it better. Let me just tell you something about Callum. Remember Dreamworld, the MMORPG that promised to be the best game ever, the end of all games? Callum called out Dreamworld. In fact, that's how I met Callum. I found Callum's video calling out Dreamworld and referenced them heavily because he was smart in his research. Dreamworld said to Cal, alright, you do it better. Callum is making an MMORPG called Nightmare World, just to take the piss. He doesn't expect it to be a massive roaring success, but it's going to be a game, and that's the difference. Cal, how's development on Nightmare World going?
Incredibly well. In fact, there's some things I can't talk about. I've told you about them, but I can't talk about them publicly.
Okay, I've seen some of your crafting stuff. That's really cool, actually.
Yeah, so there's even more to the crafting.
Okay.
So I said that we don't like interfaces. Like UIs are just crap. Nobody likes them. They're not fun.
Let's just point out Dead Space. Has anyone played Dead Space? If you've played the game Dead Space, the UI in Dead Space is entirely integrated into the game. The health is shown on Isaac's back. The map comes out of your hand. The bullets are shown on the actual gun. There is no non-diegetic UI in Dead Space. And that's one of the guiding principles, wasn't it, Cal?
Yeah, so there will be standard UI features, inventory, map, you know, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, exactly. Stuff that makes sense in our game to be on the UI. However, the crafting and everything, we're going fully diegetic.
Okay. So when you access a crafting bench, you don't just see squares of shapes with squares of things. You see the bench in front of you.
Yep, and you drag stuff from your inventory onto the bench to craft your swords, your... I won't say the other thing because I've not mentioned that before.
More immersive, I like it. Okay, cool.
And so yeah, we've made massive, massive leaps for that. In fact, we had a network test the other day, which was fantastically successful. Like, it even blew us away how successful that turned out. And on top of that, there's something I told you before this podcast that is lined up for us.
Okay.
That I can't publicly talk about yet because of what it is.
Yeah.
But if it goes to plan, that is potentially the most exciting news for any fan of Nightmare World. It will definitely be huge for us.
Brilliant. Some solid stuff. So Callum started creating an MMORPG purely out of principle and spite. And then you were playing Marbles on stream, which I still maintain is a fantastic game for free. You know,
it is.
We used to play Marbles on stream for a bit. We had a couple of marble races. You know, people type here in the chat, little marble appears. It's great. And you contacted the Marbles on stream team and said, "Hey, I'm streaming to 500 people constantly for this. Can I have a streamer marble?" And didn't they reply? What was it they said?
They said you need to get top 3 streamers in the world for the next month. Which basically, by doing the maths, I'd have to stream 17 hours a day, every day for that month, and I'd have a chance at being in the top 3. So I was like, nah, not happening.
Unlikely, isn't it? Not going to happen too much. So instead of accepting their special marble, you really wanted a special marble.
I did.
So what did you do?
I remade Marbles on stream in 24 hours, I think.
I've seen the game he made. He literally rebuilt the game. It works. It's got physics and everything. And people watch you and they type in chat and their marble appears, doesn't it?
It works exactly the same.
It's not as massive and the textures aren't as varied, but it frickin' works. It's physics. It's slopes and it spins and it goes all the way down. And Callum has made 2 games. You know that old saying, if I had a dime, every time Callum made a game out of spite, I'd have 2 dimes, which isn't a lot, but it is strange it's happened twice.
Yeah.
This is the 3rd one. The Earth 2 turned around to Callum and said, if you can do better, without realising this is literally the guy that does better. Like, he was fine. I'll do what you're going to do. What's going to happen to Earth 2? What's your prediction? If your video comes out and shows anything remotely close to it.
Did you want to know what I actually think will happen?
Well, just to preface this, one of the reasons Shane got really pissed at you was because when you type in Earth 2 into YouTube, your videos come up. That's why he was annoyed. He was annoyed that Earth 2 wasn't getting all the attention. Now, personally, I think if you want Earth 2 to get the attention for you, you need to make videos. Just make better videos. Just put out devlogs. Just do more work. But he was annoyed at you. What do you think's going to happen, Cal? Genuinely.
I think, because I am going to beat all 7 of his criteria, as they were listed when the challenge was posed, he's not going to respond at all. He is going to not acknowledge anything.
Just stonewall. Full-on stonewall.
Yep. I don't see him doing anything else, because any response he gives makes him look bad. But then again, not responding makes him look worse.
Question in chat. Who wants the metaverse? Who's excited for this? I'll tell you who's excited for it. Corporate middle managers who don't play video games.
Yeah.
No one wants them. You know what? I'll tell you what freaking gamers want. right now, we want more than one Rivers of Blood in Elden Ring. That's what we want. We want an expansion to Elden Ring, and we want it today. No one wants the metaverse.
Yeah, no, my chat is in full agreement here. We want a game, not a metaverse.
People want a game. If someone walks up to it, me and Cal are going to be at Insomnia Fest, by the way, in Birmingham in 2 weeks' time, which is crazy scary because you've not started on your cosplay.
No.
In fact, we'll go off on a tangent. The reason I brought up Insomnia was because there's going to be people who try and sell us games at Insomnia, and I guarantee everyone is going to try and sell us a metaverse, and I'm just going to walk away. I'm just going to moonwalk away. But if you're also at Insomnia Fest in Birmingham, come and say hi to me and Cal, because I guarantee we will either be on stage playing live Dungeons and Dragons with both Rage Darling and Billy Tricks, two other fantastic streamers, or we will be at one of the many bars. That's it. It's going to be just a weekend of like food and drink, really, isn't it, Cal?
Oh God, yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I'm nervous as hell about going on stage. Never been on stage in my life, anything apart from a detention in high school. But other than that,
I'm going to make it so bad for you.
Oh, please don't.
I'm not nervous about stage, man. I love stage. Stage is my life.
I know you're not. It used to be your job.
It was. I'm loving this. I'm going to get back on stage, back in theatre. We're going to get mic'd up. I'm going to get the makeup on. It's going to be lovely. So, for those of you who are unaware, Insomnia Gaming Fest in Birmingham, not sponsored, we're just both genuinely excited to be going, is a massive LAN festival. Lasts 4 days, huge amount of computers all set up together, massive LAN tournaments, all that stuff. And there's live events, there's big live stage events. At the NEC in Birmingham, it's freaking huge. Someone's in the chat made the joke, oh, going to be on the second stage.
Yes.
Yeah, actually we are. So shut up, because that joke's been made before.
Yeah. It's a shame.
It's gone, man. I can't believe when they said you're on the second stage. I'm like, so close.
Close, nearly.
The reason they've put us on the second stage is because they can't confirm that what we're going to do works yet. Once we've done it and it works, then next year hopefully we'll get a bigger stage. But it's going to be a live Dungeons and Dragons game, improv game. I'm going to be the DM. I'm going to put Callum and Rage and Billy Tricks through their paces, and we're just going to run an improvised D&D game on stage. And you're a bit nervous, Cal. Is that right? You're nervous about it?
I am very nervous. Like, when I say never been on stage, I mean any stage of any size for any amount of time or any reason.
Brilliant. Well, I'll tell you what. If no one walks up and slaps you, you're doing better than Chris Rock. That's how it's...
Yeah, no, that's a good point, actually. I think I'll be fine.
That's how we're going to judge our stage quality. If no one walks up and slaps us, we're doing good. You know?
Yeah.
Solid levels of entertainment right there.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it a lot. If you guys are there, come and say hi to us, because I really want to hang out with some people and say hi, and it's going to be great. I have a list of things I want to ask you about, Cal. The list pretty much started with Insomnia and Earth 2.
Yeah.
Random thing. Did you get a video recommended to you on YouTube? I think everyone did a while ago, about a book called Atomic Habits.
It rings a bell.
It's about doing 1% better every day. I think everyone got that recommended.
Yes, I did. I did see that.
It's like a graphical video where it breaks the book down and it streams along. Did anyone on chat also get that? Atomic Habits. Because I got it and I liked it so much, I went and bought the book. It's brilliant. It's a really good book. I will lend it you, man. It is so good, genuinely. Not sponsored, just really enjoyed it. Okay? It's all about you know when you're like really motivated and stuff to do some things, and then other times you've just got no motivation whatsoever.
Yeah.
Well, when you're really motivated, I decide what I would like to do when I'm not motivated, and then I go and set my life up so it's super easy to do that. So when I'm not motivated, like in the mornings, I want to have a healthy breakfast, but you wake up in the morning and your first thought is, I'm going to cook something horrible, a bowl of cereal, non-healthy. So I've started like prepping a healthy breakfast the night before. So when I come down in the morning, it's easier to make the healthy breakfast than it is to make the unhealthy breakfast. So I've been doing that. And I've been putting like my workout gear on the floor next to the door when I leave the bedroom. So when I get out of bed, it's easier to put that on than it is something else. Overnight oats. Boise gets it. I'm doing overnight oats, man. Bit of peanut butter, bit of oats, bit of oat milk. It's absolutely lovely. And I'm basically setting all my habits up to make it super easy for me. I'm stacking all these habits together.
Yeah.
Man, it is I'm going to give you the book. It is working so well.
I could do with that.
Yeah, it's really helping. I'm just really enjoying it. Let's see the next thing that I wanted to mention and get your opinion on. Oh, I don't know if you saw, but I did a 3-hour reaction to Asmongold's reaction to my video.
The loop.
Yeah,
Was it the loop? Yeah, I saw that.
People have long talked about reaction content on YouTube. Some people think that it's really funny. Some people think that it's really lazy. You've got people on both sides of the spectrum arguing for and against it.
Yeah.
What do you think about reaction content, Callum?
I mean, it depends on if you're actually reacting to it or if you've just got your head in the corner going, ha every 2 minutes.
Pretty much.
If you're genuinely reacting and giving valid input and it's like transformative, I don't care. I encourage people.
Yeah, I've always seen it as if you are using someone else's video as a crutch to fill time on your own screen or to make your own video without really putting too much effort in, that's lazy, that's boring. If you're using someone's video to actually add to and to react, to have like a conversation, to enhance, to add value, that's the word I like to use a lot, value, that is what I'm fine with. Adding value, totally okay.
A good example is the video that Shane called me out on, was a video of me reacting to their devlog, and it added to it.
Yeah.
If it was just me sitting there watching going, ooh, haha, oh no, what's it mean? Like,
do it. Someone get all of those sound bites that Cal just made, just that over every single Earth 2 video. Just, oh no, ooh, just that repeatedly. You could even use that random audio tech software that fakes a human voice and just add that over all of it. But yeah, I think reaction content is interesting, and Asmongold recently reacted to another video of mine where I talk about wiping off a blackboard or wiping off a chalkboard or a whiteboard, about doing... In fact, did you know that video went on TikTok?
No.
I didn't put it on TikTok. Someone sent me a TikTok of me. So if you're a teacher and you're wiping a blackboard or a whiteboard and you use a dry erase marker, if you wipe horizontally, your butt wiggles, because the human body kind of naturally twists itself to counteract the inertia. So if you wipe vertically, your butt doesn't wiggle. So if you're teaching primary school or high school and you are an attractive female teacher, vertically, much, much better than cleaning horizontally. Random thing I learned at teacher training college.
I mean, I wouldn't be against the horizontal swipe.
I mean, you'd love it.
I'd love it.
But the teachers would be in an awkward position. But yeah, it's a random thing. So some people took that butt wiggle clip, stuck it on TikTok, and I'm getting people that I haven't seen for like 5 or 10 years are sending me a TikTok clip of Asmongold reacting to me. And I'm thinking, this is some weird meta levels of reaction right now. It's very, very strange.
We're in an unusual timeline right now, aren't we?
We are. I mean, for April Fools, I might just react to all of your videos sitting in the corner going, yep, yeah.
Do it.
Ooh, yeah. So, reaction content. I'm going to do a 4-hour reaction to Asmongold's other video. There's going to be no through line. There's going to be no kind of train of thought. It's just going to be a 4-hour conversation with a video in the background. The next question I have is probably the most important one. Callum, have you seen Die Hard yet?
No.
Why not?
I mean, I was obviously going to.
No, don't lie to me. Don't just sit on Twitch and lie.
And then Halo released a series.
Oh my god, I haven't seen it yet. Is it any good?
Fantastic.
Okay, you might have angered some people right now, but defend your position.
So, let me just wait for the Titanic flute to finish playing on my stream, which...
Why is the Titanic flute playing?
I forgot I'd left Point Redemptions on.
Oh, by the way, if you're in my chat right now and you're wondering what all the random lights are on Callum's video, Callum thought it would be a really clever idea to set up a lighting system that whenever someone follows or subscribes to him, it flashes lights in his room. And this was fine when he was a really small streamer, because it happened like once or twice. If you aren't following Callum right now and you go and find his stream and you follow, it will queue up a light flash. And if hundreds of people all follow, it will queue it up for the next 30 minutes. And it's happening. He has to just sit in it. And I love that. It was
You can even do magic like click.
Okay.
Oh, okay. They're subbing, so it's
They're
kind of
subbing.
just broken.
They're subbing. It's all going to do that. It's going to have loads and loads and loads of different light
There we go.
changes.
It delayed, but it worked.
That was a shit delay click.
It was
you,
really...
You can't click and then wait and then have something happen. There's a guy just off camera with a little dial just turning it, waiting for the click.
Yeah, okay, Josh, you have started a flood on my end
Good.
now.
Yeah, go and follow Callum just to make sure that he gets that lights flashing. I mean, he smiles because people are following, but I know deep down he really hates it. Technical question, does it work when Callum is off stream? That's a good question. No, it doesn't.
No, it does not. I have created a macro that when I press it on the Stream Deck, it opens OBS, my chat, music, and this program.
Brilliant.
And when I close any of those, they all close.
Brilliant. So you've got it all sorted out and settled out. You know what's really weird is I'm on Twitch and I'm on Twitter and I'm looking at people, and you'll find someone on Twitter with like 8,000 followers and they've got 20,000 Twitch subs, which is good. You know, they're doing really well. And in their Twitter bio, it'll be like, sponsored by Elgato, sponsored by G Fuel, sponsored by Energy, sponsored by Dell, sponsored by this. And I'm thinking, I'm just getting emails for shit mobile games.
Yeah.
Where are all these sponsors for me?
Oh, Josh, I didn't tell you this. So, after this challenge went out from Earth 2, I don't know if this was convenient timing or perfectly orchestrated. I got an email from Next Earth saying that they want to sponsor my next upcoming video.
Oh, that would be meta. And not in the verse way. Just actually meta as in self-aware.
And although I considered this for a long time, I was like, that would be so funny to get actually paid for doing something that I'm already being accused of doing. I'm not gonna.
I mean, I was tempted by some Raid Shadow Legends. I would only do it if I made a worst MMO ever, Raid Shadow Legends, and I was allowed to say they were shit. The only reason I didn't take it was because they asked me to read a script.
Nah, forget that.
No. I mean,
never.
Someone had a go recently at Kira TV saying that they were annoyed that Kira was accepting all these sponsorships. Listen, Kira's a smart dude. And Kira said this. He knows that his viewers are smart. And he knows that his viewers are going to skip the advert. And he knows that his viewers should know that he's taking the money and living. You know? Sweet. People always go, oh, Kira, you sold out. No, he didn't. He's a smart guy. He took the money. He knows you're not going to listen to the advert anyway.
Yeah, and people need to realise that this is what we do for you guys. Yeah. And although you're not directly paying us with ad revenue, it's not as much as you think.
No. I mean, we're comfortable and we're happy and we can keep doing what we're doing. But when Big Daddy Rady Shady comes along with that really big paycheck with more zeros than it should have, and you're thinking, maybe I do. Maybe I do. And then I remember, no, I just don't. And the reason I don't is because I could spend 5 hours making a really good advert for any kind of company that want, or I could play more Elden Ring.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you. That's why there have been fewer videos over the last couple of days. I've just been sat downstairs playing Elden Ring. We were lucky enough to get a PS5 before they got scalped.
Oh no.
Someone's
put in my chat, Raid Shadow Cabal.
Raid Shadow Cabal! Oh, we've made it. Fantastic.
We have.
No, in all, I've never wanted to play Raid Shadow Legends, but calling it Big Daddy Rady Shady. Fantastic. You know what? You can have that. The one thing, I don't normally try and talk to corporations because they're just faceless, bland, boring entities. But if any of you have any connections to Sony, especially Sony movies, and you want to try the Uncharted film again, I am available.
Like, you should do it.
I'm going to, you know, when we're at Insomnia, I'm going to go dressed as Nathan Drake for one of the days. And I'm going to try and find someone who's got some sway in any kind of marketing.
You should be able to. And
just be like, look, come on. I mean, Tom Holland is the internet's twink. We all know that. He's eternally 19. As great as an actor he is, he's not. And I'm cheaper than Tom Holland. I'm cheaper than Richard Hammond.
I mean, I recently got free work from you, so you're definitely cheaper than him.
Yeah. Yeah. See? I mean, I'll do most of it for like a ham sandwich and a pat on the back. I'm an actor. I run off compliments. You want to walk up to me and say, "Hey, Josh, we need you to we want you in a film. We're going to pay you in Twitch subs." I'm like, brilliant. I'll do it. That's fine. Ham sandwich with or without mustard. You bring me a ham sandwich with mustard, I'll do my own stunts. That's how much I'll do it.
I actually really want to start a series with you and a few other British YouTubers, and I think it would be the funniest shit. The Great British Race Off.
Okay.
And it's just like, we all take our cars, our personal cars, to like a Santa pod or something.
Yep.
And we basically make our own Top Gear.
That's fine. One problem, I don't have a car.
Oh.
Can I use various forms of transportation in every episode?
I'll bring you a skateboard.
Done. Skateboard, bit of duct tape, helmet, I'll just hang on behind someone else's car.
Yeah.
Or I could present it as like a Poundland Richard Hammond.
Yeah, do
That's
that.
what we do. I've often said, if you threw Richard Hammond, Henry Cavill, and Richard Madden, who played Robb Stark in Game of Thrones, into a big blender, blended it, and then added in and then you rendered the final thing on like medium quality, not high quality. You took the ingredients and went, just make like a middle of the road presenter. This is what would happen.
I can see that. Actually.
Yeah, that's what I would take. A YouTuber style road trip. I'll take that.
Yeah,
We'll take that.
we should definitely do some sort of like vlog style road trip series. I think that would be funny as hell.
Just visiting places in Earth 2 in Earth 1.
Yeah, or just visiting the worst parts of England. Like, we go to Scunthorpe for a weekend or something.
Just Hull. It's just
whoa.
six episodes in Hull. And then
6
it's like,
episodes of
done.
grey walls everywhere,
It
just
is.
concrete bollards. Yeah, we could do it.
You ever been to Milton Keynes?
I have, actually.
Why? Why would anyone want to voluntarily go to Milton Keynes?
So, it's really funny that you specifically said Milton Keynes, because I had an encounter with another YouTuber in Milton Keynes in the one time I went to Milton Keynes. I believe I went there to pick up like new posts for the banisters or something because I broke one at a party.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a story for another time, by the way. But I got there. This is going back years, and you know Tom Scott?
I do know Tom Scott. Yeah, Tom Scott. Or Tom Scott.
Tom Scott.
Tom Scott, the red T-shirt, sits
Yeah.
there. I'm in a field. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was recording a video called Milton Keynes Pac-Man.
No. Because Milton Keynes is a city made up of squares, isn't it?
Yeah, and so they were going to play Pac-Man with cars. And I think they never ended up releasing the video because they found out that what they were doing was completely illegal, and a few of them got arrested for speeding through one-ways and stuff. But
as you do.
I came out of a shop, out of a one-stop, looked up, and there's just Tom Scott stood there. Said hi to him. Super nice guy. Exactly the same on camera as off camera. And that was it. And then I went and picked up the banisters. It was great.
So your celebrity story is you said hi to Tom Scott in Milton Keynes.
Yeah.
I bet that was the best thing that's ever happened in Milton Keynes.
Without a doubt.
There's a plaque. If you go back to that one stop right now, there is a plaque.
Could you imagine
Upton
the police? The police are normally like, they get a call out and it's just like, okay, who's been stabbed this time? Which kingpin drug lord is back in Milton Keynes? And they're like, no, there's some very London British people playing Pac-Man in cars. And they're just like,
We're not trained for this. Let them do it.
Yeah, we're not trained for this.
Let them carry on. You know, they've clearly, they have important things to do. They are focused. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
I don't think I've met anyone famous.
Who did I meet?
My dad met the footballer Alan Shearer once, who at the time I think was like captain of Newcastle football team. My dad was working in security for a bit, and he was with a big security team, and they were assigned to this Newcastle game, and they were all standing there outside the bus, and as the players got off the bus, every player was given like a personal security guard. And my dad was assigned to Alan Shearer, and he was just standing chatting to him for a bit, and it was a bit rainy, and Alan went, "Ooh, I don't fancy playing in this." And my dad went, "You make 20k a week and you're worried about getting wet." And that was all he said to Alan Shearer.
Yeah, I mean, I've met
play.
an Alan. I've met a famous Alan, not quite to the same level. I met Alan Titchmarsh in a gardening centre. In a meet and greet thing.
I mean, they can't let him out. He lives there.
No, he literally does. He's hiding in the plants, just, Bear Grylls style, just peeking through as people come past.
Yeah. What was he like, Alan Titchmarsh? You a nice guy?
I didn't really speak to him. He just signed a picture of himself for me, even though I didn't ask him to. And I went
you
back
weren't
outside
even in the queue. You were just walking around a garden centre.
No.
Alan Titchmarsh just throwing signed pictures of himself at people.
Here's the depressing thing. There was no queue. I walked into this room completely by accident because I like to look at the rabbits in this garden centre.
Yeah.
And they'd moved the rabbits and put fucking Alan Titchmarsh there instead. I've never been more distraught in my life.
I really hope there was a longer queue for the rabbits than there was for Alan. For those of you unaware of British culture, Alan Titchmarsh is a famous gardener. I think he rose to fame by presenting both Gardener's World and being on the TV show Ground Force, which, when I was a kid, was the most important TV show of all time. Ground Force was where they sent a team of like 4 or 5 people into someone's house or in someone's back garden to look around and say, your garden's a bit shit, let's make it not. And then in like over a week, they would dig up the entire garden and replace it with like nice stuff.
Yeah. Also, the hot redhead from that? I can't remember her name.
Charlie
she was
Dimmock.
also there.
Yes.
Yeah, God, she let herself go. I didn't even realise it was her.
Yeah, if you Google... Charlie Dimmock was famous, especially in the Ground Force days, for not wearing a bra.
Yeah.
And if you watch any of the old Ground... I mean, I now know why my dad watched Ground Force. I know why he was totally okay with it being on the TV. You look at the old screenshots of Ground Force, you're like, why was anyone watching this? Oh, I get it.
Yeah. Like, you guys were all there watching Babe Station. I was watching Ground Force.
Yeah, see, we were learning about the horticultural world as well. And then Charlie Dimmock was there. But if you Google Charlie Dimmock now, slight difference. Now, hey,
I did not recognise her.
No, long as she's happy.
Exactly. Yeah, like, no judgment, but she looks so different.
Yeah.
I knew of her before this.
Yeah.
And it took a family member to point out that that's who she was, and I was just like, really?
I'll tell you what scared me recently. I have recently finished watching every single episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. It has become one of my favourite TV shows of all time. It is phenomenally good.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been on Twitter, and one of my favourite YouTubers, someone called JXy, is now also watching all of Star Trek The Next Generation, and I am loving watching their reactions to the episodes that I've just watched. Next Generation, solid TV show, amazing, happy to talk about it with anyone. So I thought the next best thing to do is watch the original series with William Shatner. I was talking about the Atomic Habits thing earlier.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I do. We've rearranged the living room so the treadmill now faces the TV. So what I do is I come downstairs, I have breakfast, I turn the treadmill on, and I walk for about 55 minutes while I'm watching an episode of the original series of Star Trek. The original series of Star Trek is a brilliant TV show, but when you look at the cast then, and you look at the cast now, oh God, there's a difference.
Yeah.
Because I watched the Next Generation film First Contact, and then the other one, and there is so much difference. Scotty, he was hot back in the original series, and
now he's come out of rehab.
Yeah, he's not the best anymore. I mean, Shatner's put some weight on, obviously, we all know that, but they are old. Q still looks sexy, and Picard, I'm pretty sure that Patrick Stewart is immortal.
He doesn't age. He never does.
Why is it actors like Keanu Reeves and Patrick Stewart haven't changed in the last 400 years? I'm pretty sure Patrick Stewart was performing Shakespeare back when Shakespeare was writing it.
Yeah.
That's what happened. That's why he's so bloody good at it.
They are truly immortal.
Yeah. I would happily... If they came out and said they're actually immortal vampires or aliens, I think most people would be okay with this.
Yeah, they're just like, yeah, I can see that.
That's fine. Keanu Reeves is going to become our benevolent alien overlord. All right, cool. What can we do to make it happen faster? How can we expedite this process?
Yeah.
Get the man up there. Let's see what we can do with this. My friend sat with both Picard and Data once for a meal. Nice. I'm really glad that they're okay with that. Although, I didn't realise this. Patrick Stewart's wife is quite young.
Yes, I'd heard this.
She's like
I've not seen her.
30 years younger than him or something. It's ridiculous.
Fair play.
Well, I figured this out because I was watching an episode of The Next Generation, and there's an episode of The Next Gen where Captain Picard has to kiss a young actress because he's kind of gone back in time, so you're seeing like his school days, but it's still him acting it. It's just physically him, but mentally it's him from like 20 years ago. And he has his teenage crush, and he kisses his teenage crush, but it's Patrick Stewart, actor, and 17-year-old actress. And I thought, that's a bit weird. So I googled just to see what Patrick Stewart's up to nowadays, and he's just dating a really young woman, but they seem happy.
Yeah.
They seem happy.
I mean, as long as all's legal, it doesn't really matter.
Exactly. Right, let's have a quick recap of what we've done today. Callum, you still haven't seen Die Hard.
Yeah.
If this Christmas comes and goes without you watching Die Hard, I know what we're going to do, because part of Christmas tradition is to watch the Muppet Christmas Carol and then watch Die Hard.
I might have to do it.
Do it. You will do. We've talked about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that happened. We've talked about a 3-hour reaction to Asmongold's videos. We've talked about Insomnia coming up in the next 2 weeks. But most importantly, Cal, why don't you just recap for anyone who's joining us now? Earth 2.
I pointed out BS in Earth 2. Earth 2 challenged me to do something I'd never said. They expected me not to take the challenge. I took it anyway. I've done the challenge, and that video will be out tomorrow. That was concise enough, I think.
That was more concise than all 7 rules. I mean, we could probably work out a way to make all 7 rules much more concise, to be fair.
Yeah, that's not a high bar to set.
It's really not. What scares me is the mentality, the herd-like mentality of all of these projects. And guys, you'll see this. If you go into any crypto project, any NFT project, any kind of metaverse project, there is a toxic productivity, a toxic positivity going on. If you don't support the project, 110%, you are out. I mean, Cal, I think I know why that is, but why do you think it's so damn positive?
It's positive because they just want to try and build this sort of like grassroots foundation, and they can't do that if people are pointing out logic, right? The things they're trying to prove, they can't prove. So I've said this before, it's circle logic. It's kind of like I'll use the old religious example. How do you know God is real? Oh, because the Bible says so. How do you know the Bible's real? Oh, because that's God's word in the Bible. And it's just like,
one has to be true for the other to be true, but the other has to be true for the one to be true.
They're either both true or both false, but you choose for them to both be true because it suits your narrative.
It's one of those things where you can't use any outside influence to either prove or disprove anything. It's a closed system that proves itself. And that's dangerous when this happens. Now, one thing that I've noticed is that when people talk about crypto being decentralized, they don't actually like it when it is decentralized because then there's no security if it ever goes bad or goes wrong. What I've also noticed is this. I don't think that a lot of people pushing for crypto hate billionaires. I think they hate the fact that they aren't billionaires.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, the financial system is unfair, we need to reboot it, which has some absolute merit, and that is valid, man. No one needs a frickin' billion of any currency, apart from maybe the ruble, because that's worth less than RuneScape gold now. But no one needs a billion of any large, stable currency.
No.
A lot of people who are going into these projects, I think they just want a billion themselves. They want to be the next rich. That's what it is.
Yeah, I can't agree more. It is a weird situation because it is just people circle jerking to try and get each other rich, but get them rich quicker than the other person. If you look in Earth 2 is a good example. Google, search in their Discord the word Tesla or Lambo.
Okay.
And I shit you not, the amount of results that brings up of people basically estimating their worth as how close they are to a Lambo, how close they are to a Tesla. it's crazy. All they're thinking about is the monetary side of it. They don't care about anything else.
That's what I've noticed. A lot of these projects, these NFT gaming projects, metaverse projects, the game is always second. The game is always a distant second thought. Oh, our game is going to be involved in the metaverse. Okay, cool. What's your game going to be? Oh, it's going to be crap.
Yeah.
It's going to be absolutely crap.
Or we haven't decided yet.
Yeah. People always talk about how close they are to a huge, big financial purpose like a Lamborghini or a Tesla. But if you can go out of your house in the morning and you can buy food and you can buy, you know, maybe a book or two, a couple of clothes, come home and you've got your bills, your mortgage or your rent paid for, and you've not really got to worry about anything else beyond that, you are a level of rich. If you don't have to worry about the amount of money in your bank account at the end of the week, at the end of the month, you are at least a level of comfortable rich. Because there's so many people who, you know, they've got 50 quid in the bank and that's got to last them for the next month. That is scary. I've been there. It sucks. To look at the amount of money, and banks make so much money off people when they go overdrawn. It's absolutely ridiculous. If you've got enough money in your bank to not necessarily worry about the month or two, sweet. That's great. You know, we all want more money, but once you've got that level of cash, you're good. You're pretty good, you're okay. And it seems that a lot of these projects, these crypto projects, Earth 2 especially, it's just people wanting to push beyond that kind of middle class limit to become the upper class, become the higher class. When do I get more jewels? When do I get more of this? Have you noticed, Cal? It's always about when do they get more resources, never when do they get more gameplay.
Yeah. It is simple. It's a financial pyramid scheme disguised as a game. That's it.
You know, Habbo Hotel has NFTs now.
Oh, fuck me. Really?
I liked Habbo Hotel. It was cool.
Wait, surely, because NFTs are classed as financial securities because they're on the blockchain and the game is aimed at kids, surely that's illegal, right?
I don't know enough about the law to either put it one way or the other.
No, I've not heard this or how it's implemented. But
people like Habbo died because of it.
I think it died a while ago, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a really crazy thing. Anyway, ladies and gents, we have been streaming for about 2 hours.
We have.
That's ridiculous. That's flown by for me. That's absolutely flown by. And do you know all I've been thinking the entire time? What? I've got to kill that stupid snake in Elden Ring. How far are you in Elden Ring, Cal? Have you reinstalled it?
I'm not allowed to buy it. I'm not allowed to buy it.
You bought it, refunded it because it sucks on PC, and after you refund it, there's like a limit, isn't there?
It won't let me purchase it because I've recently refunded it.
It won't let you purchase Elden Ring because you've recently refunded Elden Ring.
Yes.
Can someone gift it you?
That's a good question, actually.
If you want it, I'll just see if I can gift it you. That might work.
Yeah, because you can't refund gifts.
Yeah.
So maybe they'd be fine with that. I don't know. That's a good... You know, I hadn't even thought of that.
I'll find a way. If you want the game again, I'll see if I can get your game again. Because I've been playing it and I'm really enjoying it. People are like, oh, the snake is so easy. The snake... Look, every single boss in Elden Ring is easy once you've beaten it. Once you've beaten it, everything's pissing easy. When you've not beaten it, it is literally the most bullshit thing ever designed. The most bullshit boss in Elden Ring, though, without a doubt, is those two really fast knights in one of the catacombs. Now, the Ornstein and Smough fight worked because one was fast and one was slow. But this one, the Ordinator Knights, they don't work because they're both fast. And I dislike
No, there's no synergy there.
There's no synergy, man. Right, Cal, do you have any final closing thoughts? Let's talk about your video coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, so it'll be coming out tomorrow, regular time, as a premiere. I can't wait for everybody to see it. Yeah. Because as you've seen as a preview, Josh, there's a lot more to it than people are expecting.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. But I'll be streaming after it as usual. But once I've done this video on Earth 2, on this challenge, for me that's it.
Yeah.
With it. Whatever goalposts he moves after, I'm not pandering to them.
No,
that's
leave it. I think you've done more for their marketing than they have, to be fair.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. When people type in Earth 2 to YouTube, they find you. Callum, you are Earth 2.
I am Earth 2. I am the Cabal leader.
You are. Are you giving yourself that title right now?
I've got 6 badges in the room next door just waiting for this video. That's become canon now, hasn't it? The Badger Cabal.
The Shadow Badger Cabal.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Oh, guys, if you are... People are like, 6 whole badgers. No, 6 part badgers.
Yeah, they'll combine to make 2.5.
Yeah, but it's not about the amount of badgers, it's about the application. It's about the clever application of the correct amount of badger. Anyway, ladies and gents, thank you very much for joining us. Next week will be 1 week to go until Insomnia. So I'm hoping that we can get Billy Tricks and Rage Darling on to chat with us. Now, one thing that I want to ask you guys all about, everyone in the audience right now, the format of this show, the Tangent Tavern. Me and Cal have been talking, and here's what I think. Some episodes will just be me and Cal talking about stuff.
Yes.
Some episodes will have a special guest on. And when we do have a special guest on, no matter who it is, I think it should go like this. We should interview and chat to the special guest about their speciality for about an hour, and then we should play an improvised Dungeons & Dragons style tabletop game with that guest as a character, and Callum as a character, and I'll Dungeon Master it. Cal, what do you think about that?
I think that's perfect. I've got a confession to make. I thought you were ending that with a wrap-up there, so I've started a raid countdown. But
who are you raiding?
Queen, Blue and Queenie.
Sweet,
very cool streamer.
How long's the raid countdown?
About 7 seconds, Josh, so if you want to quickly wrap up.
Ladies and gents from Callum Stream, thank you very much for joining us. We will see you next Monday. Take care, have a good night, and God bless.
We will. Thank you all for joining.
Everyone on my stream, we are still here. All right? No, in all seriousness, what I think should happen is, if we have Kira TV on, let's chat to Kira, and then let's play a Dungeons & Dragons game with him. If we chat to Nerd Slayer... Oh, I've contacted Nerd Slayer Studios, the guy that does all the death of a game videos. He's well up for being on this.
Nice.
Cal, who contacted you? Who reached out to you?
I was actually on Big Fry's stream talking to him about D&D, and he says, I'd love to play D&D. I was like, well, why don't you come on the podcast with me and Josh? And he was like, I'd love to.
Brilliant. It's got Big Fry TV. I've been speaking to the Spiffing Brit recently. Spiffing Brit is more than happy to come and do something with us at some point, at some time. Can we get Henry Cavill? We can ask him. If we can't get Henry Cavill, I will just dress up as Superman. I'll do my hair. I'll get a bit more hench. We'll sort it all out. But no,
don't ask, you don't receive.
Exactly. Ladies and gents, thank you very much for joining us. It's been lovely. I will see all of you guys tomorrow on Callum's video. Make sure you're watching that. I'll be putting a video out on Wednesday, and then I'll see you on Saturday. Take care. Good night, and God bless.